Hey, this is Kaufman is a live YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at an old comic book. It's Nova, the Human Rocket, number 2 by Marvel Comics. Came out in June of 98. It's written by Erik Larsen, and Joe Bennett is the penciler. And Erik Larsen's on the cover here as well. And it's inked by Terry Austin. So all the covers on this series were drawn by Larsen, even though he doesn't do the interiors. And they're inked by Terry Austin, so the covers are all really cool, I feel like. And each issue seems to have a new guest star. This issue, obviously, we got Captain America here. One of the very first reviews I made on my channel was the first issue of this, Nova number 1. So go check that out if you haven't yet and get caught up what's going on in this series. Pretty awesome cover here. Just got Diamond Head smashing Nova through a wall here. We got the really long arms that Larsen likes to do here. Definitely kind of a Jack Kirby style to this. And we'll get into the issue here. Joe Bennett is on the interiors. You might have known him from his Immortal Hulk run with Al Ewing, where he drew all the issues in there. But unfortunately, near the end, he got caught up having some questionable imagery in some of those issues. They had to be redrawn, and the issues had to be reprinted, and he hasn't been able to get any more work at Marvel since then, unfortunately. He does a great job here, though. We've got Namorita, who in the last issue is a former fling of Nova. She was trying to get back together with him, but she had a horrible, like, scaly skin condition going on here. And it just washes off here right at the beginning of this comic, and she's clearly pleased by what she sees in the mirror here. This issue is called Shattered Lives. So Nova, he's having a crisis of conscience here. He doesn't want to be Nova anymore because in the last issue he accidentally killed his ex-girlfriend's fiance, who she's pregnant with his baby. And so he's not really sure if he can continue on being a superhero. But then he says, who am I kidding? I not only asked for these powers, I wouldn't give them up for anything. So they get a call on the police line that he has access to and goes to try and stop this guy who's robbing this liquor store here. A safe out of the liquor store. He's actually like holding a big giant safe. Very cartoonish. And he does. He stops the bad guy here, but he's afraid that he's going to go too far, and at the last second he hesitates, and then this bad guy who calls himself Kid Quarry, because he's like a human rock pile, I guess, or human avalanche. So he, smashes Nova with all these rocks and buries him, and he gets away with the safe. So Nova's hesitation cost him there. And then we get Richard Rider, who's talking to his friends, telling him to go play some baseball with him so they can get the babes. Think of the babes. And then we see this girl who Richard Rider has a crush on, but she's with Randy Reed, who's the school's current baseball big shot. It's all just very like Archie comics. So they're just trying to get the babes. Then we get some of Larsen's proclivities to writing here as he, starts putting in some of his political views in here, as Nova's trying to go to the hospital to visit his ex-girlfriend, whose boyfriend she almost killed. I think earlier I said he killed him, but he actually didn't kill him. He's just in a coma. He's in intensive care. And so Nova's going to visit him and her. But outside, there's all these like abortion activists. So we see, an early example here of Larsen delving into politics in his comics here, in his writing. So it comes into play a little bit later as well, too. that's the kind of stuff we see in current Savage Dragon, I feel like. So he visits Ginger, who's the girl, and you see the guy who he almost killed in the last issue here. And, Nova just says that he's here for her, and he should probably leave, but he'll call her. So, and he says, hey, at least the guy's not beating you anymore. So he goes off, he bumps into this guy in the elevator who just happens to be the villain Diamond Head, who we saw on the cover. And we get a callback here to Nova number 10 from the previous Nova volume, where he had a run-in with Diamond Head. And he says he can't believe Diamond Head didn't recognize him. And so here's where we get more of Larsen's politics here. So Diamond Head goes in here to this hospital where apparently they do abortions, and he's going to kill this abortion doctor. And he says he doesn't care about him taking the lives of the unborn or anything. He's just here. He's getting paid to do a job. So then Nova shows up and puts a stop to that. And the doctor says, just don't let anything happen to the innocents here. So apparently, they're in a place where they do abortions, but they also have, give births, and it's just a regular hospital. I don't know if that's how it really works, but for the purposes of this comic, that's how it's working. So Diamond Head shows up in his really lame costume here. Don't know what's going on with this costume. Very much like a 70s throwback style. Doesn't really fit in the 90s, I feel like, and it doesn't really fit today. But that's just my opinion. So anyway, Nova takes him way up into the sky, kind of threatening that he's going to drop him. And again, he hesitates after he mentions Epirus, which is another callback to a very rare comic. It actually says this happened way back in ROM Space Knight number 24. So there was a Xandar Scroll War that Diamond Head was a part of, and he was working with the Nova Corps, but he was a traitor to them. And we kind of see what happened there. Nova's just remembering it all. And so he falls to the ground. Well, they both do. And we see Captain America show up. And this is during the time where he's got the kind of weird energy shield, which I hardly even remembered until I read this comic, that they gave Captain America this like energy shield for a period of time. So, and on the cover, he's actually got the regular shield. It looks like, they put some little circles around it to kind of make it look like the energy is kind of there, but it looks like the regular shield. If I'd have to bet, I'd bet Larsen would rather have had the original Captain America shield in this story, because actually, after Nova gets kind of beat up, he actually just steals it from Captain America and it comes from a glove, so he steals the glove and then uses all that power of the shield to smash Diamond Head into a million pieces. And then, of course, Nova is upset. He says he didn't mean to do that. He never expected that to happen. And of course, we've got all this, conscience of crisis that he's going through. So this just is adding to it. Really love the rendering here on the helmet. Looks really great. Some really great art in this book. It's really good stuff. So anyway, Captain America tries to console Nova, just, tries to explain that he'll vouch for him. He understands it was an accident, which is kind of funny. And Nova goes home. He's talking to his friends again. They're just all concerned about all the babes. When this babe shows up at the front door, and she says, now that my blue skin all cracked off, this was underneath. And he tries to talk to her, but then he's like, but what a jerk you were. Down, boy. I thought you loved me, but you weren't there for me when I needed you. If I want empty love, I can get that from anybody. So then she grabs his roommate and just pulls him into the bedroom and slams the door. And that's the end of the issue. And then it says next issue, Nova gets Skull, which is that like a joke about Nova getting head? I don't know. In the context of this page, it almost seems like it, but so that's it for this issue. I'd give it a slight recommendation. It's got a pretty good story in here, but they kind of a little bit more of a jokey tone than I would have expected following the events of the previous issue where Nova nearly killed a guy, and he continuously just keeps kind of accidentally killing people or nearly killing them. But the tone is very much like comedic throughout the entire comic for the most part, so kind of a weird, kind of some weird tones there. So I like the art though. I love the cover by Larsen and the interiors by Joe Bennett. So I'd give it a slight recommendation. And go check out my channel. I post daily comic book reviews, and I'll see you on the next one.